All right, that was a little bit of a rough one. Browns lose close game to the Kansas City Chiefs. Had the chance to win it, right? Got the pick by Carl Joseph in the end zone. Had a chance to drive down, just could not get the yards. It looked like finally that offensive line that had been duct taped together with a guard at left tackle finally started to show its warts, and it really did affect a lot of things on that play and on that last drive here. Now, we're going to get to talk about the defense in a minute. I know a lot of people are out here saying, fire Joe Woods. Why? Because Chad Henne scrambled on 3rd and 14. Well, my question to you is, what is Joe Woods supposed to call there? Right? If his defense can't get to Chad Henne on 3rd and 14, like, what do you want him to call? A spy? You want him to call a spy on Chad Henne on 3rd and 14? Like, why would it even come to mind to do that? And then the 4th and 2 play, hey, hats off to Andy Reid, right? That is an amazing call. That's an amazing call. That's an amazing call by Andy Reid to have the balls to do that and for it to convert. Because if he did not convert, Baker would have had the ball with a minute left on his own on the Kansas City 40. Hey, that stinks. What this game came down to was, and we got a super chat from Henry, who says, obviously the defense needs much improvement, but I'm sick of the excessive hate I've already seen. We had the most unstoppable offense in the league to field goals all day. Yeah, and you know what? The Browns defense really, it wasn't that bad of a performance. I get people are frustrated, but like, you have to understand, Kansas City Chiefs do that to everybody in the playoffs. Henry Goldburn, who says, obviously the defense needs much improvement. Okay, that's one right there. We got another one from Richard Gonzalez. Can't wait till next season. Thanks for the amazing work and content. It's going to keep going on. Don't leave just because the season's over. It's going to keep going on. We're going to keep having stuff on here. But that aside, right? Like, those last two plays, that is just, you know, your linebackers, BJ Goodson, doing, unfortunately, what he's done all year, which is sometimes he does hero ball. He's not where he's supposed to be because he thinks he can make a better play somewhere else, and it ends up costing you. That happens with BJ Goodson at times. That's why you need to upgrade the linebacking position during the offseason. And then on 4th and 2, great play call. Hats off to, if you get that 4th and 2 with that much on the line, hey, hats off to you. You deserve all the credit in the world. Give some credit to Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid. We're not going to be mad at the defense and just act like Joe Woods was coaching against scrubs there. He was coaching against Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, two of the best on the offensive side of football that football has to offer. If you want to complain about what could have won this game, Rashard Higgins got to go down in bounds or make sure he doesn't fumble on that play. We can complain about the rule. We can complain about the helmet call. All of that is null and void if Rashard Higgins goes down in bounds. That's not to say the whole game is on Rashard Higgins. There were a ton of things like that in this game where the Browns just weren't being who they were. This one's from Yeezy, who says, these Browns fans are goofy saying fire Joe Woods. This dude took a bunch of raw players and made them a competitive group. Look, there is an argument to fire to be mad at Joe Woods, right? There is an argument. I'm not trying to say that Joe Woods has not done anything all year that has not made me want to see him fired. But this game, this wasn't it. This is not the reason to get rid of Joe Woods. This game is not it. Joe Woods actually called a decent game. Like, Kansas City, even with Patrick Mahomes was out there, was working real hard to get points. And, you know, they're Kansas City. I said it in the pregame preview. They were going to get at least 21 points, and they did get 21 points. Biography says defense needs some sharpening. Thank you, Q, for the season. Enjoyable. I look forward to watching you for seasons to come. Appreciate it, man. We're going to have tons of things on this channel. So that all is what it is. And look, Browns fans, we can sit here and be upset and be angry all offseason, or we can have some perspective on this moment, right? Going into the season, 11-5 and winning a playoff game, especially Pittsburgh on the road, that's what you wanted. Is it not? Was that not exactly what you wanted out this season? Tell me if I'm lying. Who thought we were making the AFC Championship game this year? Who thought we were making the Super Bowl? It's amazing that we got the chance. Shout out Big Papa Poop. Big Papa Poop. But it's amazing we had the shot. We came this close to the AFC Championship. I don't know how we would have fared because it looked like Blake Hance would have been the left tackle, and that's just not a desirable situation. But, you know, you came this close. But, hey, you know, this is exactly what you set out to achieve. Don't be mad once you achieve it, you know, that you didn't achieve more. This is what you came out to achieve. You did it. Next year, you know that things are fixed. And again, I said all year, this was a good but flawed team. And the flaws were on defense. Flaws were in the personnel. Craig says, heads up, ladies and gentlemen, no excuses, go Bills. Okay. So, going into the season, this is exactly where you want it to be. You want it to be in the second round. You want to play a close game. And look, just small things there, man. And that's what it's like in the playoffs. The Browns didn't come out playing their cleanest game. Neither did Kansas City, but they played just a smidget more clean than you. They had just a smidge more playmakers than you did. They just made the extra plays. They stepped up in the moments where we needed Myles Garrett to step up and make a play. They had Travis Kelce and all these extra guys. Big Papa Poot with another super chat. Every game is going to be decided by 57 plays. No call on the helmet. The helmet was a 9-point swing. That was our tuck rule. Love it or hate it. I don't even think it was a tuck rule. Like, the Browns had multiple opportunities to come back from over that, right? Like, it sucks that it happened. But they had that drive. They had the interception. They could have got points on that. Harrison Butker missed a couple of field goals. Like, you had your opportunities. The Chiefs did not play a clean game. You did not capitalize on them offensively. And to beat the Chiefs, we knew we would have to be a better team offensively than they were. So that is what it is. The Browns have some things to figure out. They have some things to get fixed, but in no way is this a panic, right? The Browns are a team that looks good enough to come back next year if they get some things fixed. Matty Bond, so proud of this team. It hurts, but they battled. Any idiot saying fire Joe Woods or Stefanski, if anybody's saying fire Stefanski, they should just lose the thing. And again, look, one of the things that hurt you was your lack of vertical threat on this offense, right? It allowed them to stay horizontal, the defense for the Kansas City Chiefs to stay horizontal and attack the edges on your runs, and that really slowed down the run game in the first half. This is where having a deep threat helps. It could be Odell, it could be, anybody, but you just didn't have a deep threat that they were scared of. Browns fan 512 says, great season by the Browns. It's unfortunate on the ending. Proud of the team. Whole battle stayed in the game. At one point, the Browns could have got blown out. The Browns could have got blown out in there like the Ravens did last night. I know there's some Raven fans for whatever reason trolling in the chat. At least we didn't get blown out. You know what I mean? Like the Ravens got blown out. Like they had no chance in that game at any point. But, Raven fans want to troll. I don't quite understand it, but, hey, have fun trolling. Corey freaking Preston, we running it back next season. Absolutely. The Browns have more than enough talent. They have everybody on roster. And look, of all of the AFC North teams, the Browns are in the best cap position. They have the youngest roster. We're fine, man. Hey, getting here in Kevin Stefanski's first year, like a lot of people, let's not forget we're predicting 8-8 for this team. I wasn't. I always thought 11-5, win a playoff game. This is about where they would be. And, that ended up to be accurate. Now, next year's where they make that big step. Next year's where Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield get a whole year with each other. Next year is where you can, build some depth on the offensive line to withstand injuries. Next year is where you can add something to that defense, add more playmakers. You're going to have that opportunity, most definitely. Next year is going to be a real big year for this franchise. But as far as this year goes, it's upsetting. They did not get the upset. They had a couple of chances to do it. They ended up not getting it. I'm going to read some of these super chats. I'm going to go and break down the game offensive defense. Mark Kahn says, defies defense. Wait, what did you say? Mark Kahn with a $22 super chat. Define defense. Oh, okay. Define defense in the draft. All right. Dave May with a $21 super chat says, Q, I wonder if you saw Higgins flip the ball in the end zone to be recovered on his fumble. It did to me, but if I saw Higgins flip ball no, Higgins just fumbled. He just fumbled. Yeah, he wasn't doing anything intentional. He just fumbled. It looked like he was trying to extend to get the ball into the end zone. He got hit in the back of the head. And, when you get hit in the back of the head, you black out for a quick second, and then he let go of the ball. My thing is he probably shouldn't have extended, right? He was wrapped up already. He was in a vulnerable position. He probably shouldn't have extended. That's my thing, right? He should have just wrapped up, go down, because also you needed to kill time, right? You did not need to score that fast. He should have extended. He should have, only if he knew he had that space, he should have extended. He should not have extended on that play. And it ended up, being a bad play. We can complain about the rule, but he knew the rule was there. We knew the rule was there. You fumble out the back of the end zone, it's a touchback, and it's unfortunate. It was the difference in the game. But you can also say if the Chiefs lost this game, Harrison Butker's field goals that he missed would be the difference in the game. Both teams gave each other opportunities throughout this game. It wasn't a smooth game for either team. It's just the Chiefs got the break at the end. Who in the world was guessing Chad Henne was going to scramble on 3rd and 14? Nobody could guess that, right? Like, nobody thought that was going to go, and let alone that work. That happens. And again, missing Olivier Vernon, you don't have that athleticism on the outside. Is Adrian Claiborne? The injuries are taking its toll. He gets there. You make the stop. Like, let's give him credit. They make the stop, make it 4th and inches, and Andy Reid does something nobody expects, which is go on 4th and go. If he go on 4th down on his own 40. Who in the world was guessing that Ali Mohammed, Alex Van Pelt should run the plays on offense? No, he shouldn't. Why? Well, you won 11 games with Kevin Stefanski, and now you don't want him to call the plays? What? Let's relax a little bit. What are you talking about? We're gonna take the play calls from the coach of the year. The guy that we know is going to be here. What if Alex Van Pelt gets a job next year? Then who's calling the plays, right? Okay. Sam Baker with the $5 super chat. Our defense needs some serious work. Should we trade Odell for draft picks? Unrelated. Myles Garrett looks like a different player after COVID-19. Too many clamps. Also, come on, guys. The Browns, we made it to the playoffs. Yeah, not just made it to the playoffs. They won a game in the playoffs. Like, they did everything that you wanted this unit to do. And when you achieve all your goals, that's no way to respond is to fire people. That would be goofy, right? I'm going to block this dude. He's just being a troll. Hold on one second. Let me catch up with the chat. All right, we got too many clamps. I already got that super chat in. All right, let me try to break this game down. Matty Bond with the $5 super chat. We won the play. Okay, yep, I read that one already. The team went from 6-10 to 12-6. Now let's go for a Super Bowl next year. Yeah, definitely. Got to make a jump. Got to make a jump, right? B. Slick says tough loss overall, but great season. We'll be back next year. Look out, NFL. Sherlock with €5. I was also saying fire Joe Woods, but I calmed down. We get Delpit, Billings, Greedy back in draft. I hope the offense will be. And, the Browns have cap space. Like, the Browns do have cap space. Like, the Browns have cap space. They have an opportunity to change some things. Yeezy again. Browns should definitely run a 3-4 or 5-2 next season. Our defensive plays, no, they don't play the best with the 5 front. I'm going to have to disagree with that one, Yeezy. They don't. I've seen them. Like, they played the one good game against Tennessee with the 5-man front, but look at all they did against Baltimore with that 5-man front. Did absolutely nothing. Got torched by Lamar Jackson on that 5-man front. They do not need to go to more 5. They're not deep enough on the defensive line. How many times have I said this on this channel? They're not deep enough on the interior of the defensive line. They don't have the linebackers. Like, these are the things. The safeties, the back end, they're slow. Like, these are the things they need to fix. They do not need to change the whole scheme. They ran into some issues with athleticism in this game. Thank you, Rager, for the $15 super chat. Got Jim Halpert from The Office. If this were a game where OBJ speed was needed, yep, this is definitely a game, right? OBJ speed was needed. You could have had OBJ. That would have changed how they would have had to cover you. You would have had more success on the ground, but you didn't. That's why you need somebody to be a valuable deep threat. The Browns just didn't have that in this game. Nobody could stretch the field. Colin Keefe with the $5 super chat. I got to ask what positions you see the Browns drafting to go further next year. Safety, defensive line, linebacker. Any of those 3 positions I'm fine with as long as it's on the defensive side of the ball because they need to do that on the defensive side of the ball. Sheepdog says, a lot of talk about the defense held Kansas City to 22 points. With the asterisks, Pat Mahomes did get hurt halfway through the third quarter. This one hurts, but the only one team ends the season happy on the next year. Go Browns. Appreciate that. And then we got a $10 one from Man Stash. Chubb couldn't get going in the first half. Chubb couldn't get going. He got going. Should have got Hunt involved more. Chubb got going. Like, give Chubb his credit. He got going. That's how you scored that touchdown. He had some drops also. Chubb, uncharacteristic drops. He had some drops early in this game, on some slip screens that would have went for a lot of plays. The Browns they did not play their best game. They did not play their best and smooth game. And the Kansas City Chiefs, they didn't either. but they played a smoother game than you did. And when they are the more talented team, when they are the better unit, hey, this it's going to happen. Shout out to Njoku for some crazy plays. Yeah, he played well today. Brian K. Players will not be satisfied. Need front office to fill the same mistake to make some strategic investments and upgrade. All in all, they're going to make those investments, right? Like that was always the plan with this team while they had 1-year contracts. So, we don't need to put pressure on them. They're going to do it. Like we don't have a trash front office or coaching staff anymore. But offensively, I felt like, hey, once your left tackle went out, it was a little bit of an uphill battle. Once Kendall Lamb went out, it was definitely an uphill battle. Yeah, Blake Hance out there. That means you had to commit the running back or tight end to him. Really just shut down a lot of the different routes that you would have. And when you're that low on like receivers at that point, because you're dedicating one to stop the pass rush, it becomes a problem. And it showed its head at that last drive. Keith I got to act. Okay. Yeah. And it showed its head at the last drive where, Baker couldn't get anything going because he just didn't have anybody open downfield. And whenever they just decided to protect normal, Frank Clark and Chris Jones got through, Hey, and you're down to a guard playing tackle, It stinks. They couldn't move the ball. You're handicapped as well as the Chiefs. So they did their thing. Andy Reid called one hell of a game. You got to give him his credit. We got a 50 bomb from CE. Says, thanks for all the great content this season. You have improved just as much as the Browns this year. Hate to see them. Was I 6-10 in 2019? Was that what? No, I'm just playing. But this is the best I've ever felt at the end of the season. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Andrew MB says if Taki makes another leap, he could be a Pro Bowler. He's got a lot of leaping to do on the coverage side of the ball. I'll say that. He's got a lot of leaping to do there, but he does have some potential as a run stopper, What the hell is going on in chat? All right. So offensively, it was up and down. You couldn't get the run game going early. You got it going in the second half. But, when you needed to capitalize, I was surprised with 5 minutes left. They didn't go in their 5-minute offense. They decided to stick with Baker. I think that was a little bit of a mistake because I just think the protections couldn't hold up. Not that I don't have faith in Baker. I just didn't have faith in the protections there. Also, you don't have an Odell to stretch the field, so they could really clamp in on Jarvis and do a lot of things there and get the Chiefs defense credit. They made some great plays there. So offensively, they did well. They really squeezed that touchdown drive out to give you even a chance in this game. Like there were like a couple of fourth downs, a lot of third downs to squeeze it out. They really squeezed that one out, and they weren't able to get that next drive after the interception. Defensively, look, man, you held the Chiefs to 22 points. There is an asterisk there, right? Because they had 14 or something or 20 almost. Yeah, they had 19 at the half. So, they were scoring well, but they weren't getting the big play. Like everything on the back end was holding up as well as you would expect. It's just you didn't get the pressure that you wanted with the defensive line. And again, like I said in the preview, if you don't get pressure with that defensive line, you're going to be in trouble against the Chiefs because they have so much talent that somebody's going to get open, right? And that's what happened. They had so much talent. Somebody kept getting open. They kept getting first downs, and you held them to a couple of field goals, some field goals in which they missed. That one after the pick where you held him to a field goal and he missed the field goal, that was with Patrick Mahomes out there. The defense, they gave you so many chances to get back in this game. Like the defense did the more I think about it, the defense got that drive to hold to a field goal after the pick six, after the interception. They got the interception to put the ball in your hands with 8 minutes left to get the lead. Like the defense, we can get mad at them at the end of the game, but what do you want them to do? Like what they got you with like multiple chances to win this game. What do you want them to do? Like they're not a good unit to begin with. They're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Like you want to fire Joe Woods? This is probably the best the defense has played almost all year. Your defensive line didn't show up. The back end did as well as they could have. Captain Funk with a $10 super chat says the Browns may have not won this game, but they won our hearts. Huge props to the Browns for going this far. Absolutely. Kevin Stefanski didn't have his best game. The offense didn't have their best game. You got to get more than 14 rushing yards in the first half. Like, these are things that you have to do. You're down offensive linemen. Like, you were dealt a tough hand, no doubt. But the defense, they kept you in this game. That's why I don't get why everybody wants to get rid of Joe Woods at this point, right? Why? Why? What does that solve? You need to get deeper on the defense. If anything, you need to get more talent on the defensive line. You need to get Myles Garrett, a suitable, somebody who's going to be healthy to run with them. And then get somebody else to run behind them. The defensive line, look, if the defensive line would have got a little bit more pressure today, this game would have been a wrap. But they just didn't. And that is what it is. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. You were gambling on winning on that side of the line of scrimmage. You didn't win that battle. And you barely won your battle on the offensive side because of injuries. And you really didn't win it in the first half. So the Browns did not play their best game again. The Chiefs did not play their best game. But the areas in which the Chiefs were sloppy, they were able to make up with. They were sloppy in special teams. The Browns were sloppy on the defensive line. They were sloppy on the offensive line. Could not afford that. That's why the Browns lost. Higgins, got to stay in bounds. Got to stay in bounds. Can't reach out if you don't know what's behind you. I know he's had success with that in the past, but that's a situation where you don't need to score at that moment. You would have scored there anyways. That would have gave the Chiefs the ball. You would have been down 10, right? Because the Chiefs got the field goal on that drive. So time management, get down. Trust that you can run the ball in from 2 yards in. Again, he did not have to make that play. You did not have to do too much. Baker Mayfield throws an interception. It ends up being inconsequential because the defense shows up and Harrison Butker makes a mistake. If it misses another field goal. He missed like 2 today. Keith G, disappointing conclusion to a magical year. So proud of this team. We knocked out Pitt twice and took it to the champs with the patchy defense all year. Yeah. So you get in that moment. Look, did the Browns have their best game? No. But they had moments. And, these are learning experiences. We forget with how much success this team has that this is a first-year head coach. He's going to make mistakes like this, right? Going up against Andy Reid, who his first year was like 20 years ago. This ain't his first rodeo. This ain't his first divisional round game. This ain't his first nothing. Andy Reid knows what he's doing up there. Craig with the super chat. Go Dogs. You'll be back next year. Shout out to you, Craig. But it's just like that. They're a young team. This was a learning experience. And look, I think a lot of y'all are looking at this as if it's like the Kelly Holcomb Browns or a Browns team that might just be up there one year and then stink the next. This team should not be bad next year. This team, honestly, should be better next year. Like, next year's team was the team. We all knew this. Pedro, Baker, and OBJ for Watson. Thoughts? What? That's stupid. That's dumb. You're going to trade Baker and OBJ for Watson? Get out of here. That's dumb. I'm not doing that. You should have known if you watch my channel what my reaction to that would have been. Baker, get out. That's dumb. No, we're not doing that. All right. We got another one from Matthew Slynn who says, can't keep blaming Joe Woods, consider the bang-up defense. I mean, I can't expect the Formula One driver to win in the station wagon. I think so. Joe Woods makes any quarterback looks good. This is from Insane Big L, who's taking a big L. Joe Woods makes any quarterback look good, but hopefully we're better next year. The small window to get to the Super Bowl, but hopefully we can get it. Yeah, they got to get better on the secondary, right? The secondary has to get better. Safeties. They got to get faster at the very least, right? Grant Delpit has to come back, even though we don't know what his situation is going to be. But you got to get faster in the secondary. That's definitely an area where they have to improve. I don't think Joe Woods really had a ton to do with that. Keith G. Okay, I think that one, I read that one already. Another one from Keith G. This team got a taste. Now they'll be hungry next year. We'll be solidified if our franchise quarterback finds our identity. Let's go. Yep. Team needs to find its identity. Well, the team's found its identity. It's just, they got to build on top of that. They have to have experience. Nobody just wins it in their first year. Who's the coach that's won the Super Bowl in their first year? Be slick. Yo, Q on the media. I know the media thinks OBJ won't be back, but what do you think? How excited are you to see next year if OBJ, Grant Delpit, and everybody can get back? If OBJ can get back, I think that adds some dimension to this offense. I think there are other solutions there, too, if you want to just get a deep threat in free agency and see what you can get with Odell in the trade market. There's options there too, but we got that's not going to happen until the middle of the year. Yeezy says we smoking Lombardi next season. No cap. I hope so. Pablo C. All the big breaks went against the Browns except Mahomes getting knocked. I don't wish that on anyone. Great game. Holds heads up. Futures bright in Cleveland. Most definitely. And then Keith G, this team got to take. Okay, I read that one already. All right, we're going to go to some of the post-game interviews. We're going to go with Kevin Stefanski. His is already up. Misfit with a super chat to everyone saying to get rid of Baker. And not enough people are saying that for that to be real. Nobody wants to get rid of Baker. That's just ridiculous, right? Like, we're not about to be ridiculous here or entertain ridiculousness. All right, let's get to Kevin Stefanski.
We had our opportunity there late in that ball game.
Over here. My bad, y'all.
And we didn't do it, so we're going to share in this defeat like we share in those victories, and it hurts. And there's a finality to this when you don't get it done in the playoffs. That really hurts. So, I appreciate how our guys battled. They fought like they do every single week, and just wasn't enough today. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Coach. First question goes to Tom Withers.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Kevin. You talked about it. You guys are just short in a couple of instances. Did Andy surprise you by going for it there? Did you think they were going to punt it away?
They've been very aggressive in a lot of those moments, so that didn't surprise me. Us getting a stop there, would have been.
You're not going to get Stephon Gilmore for Odell Beckham, Brandon. Well, we're not getting Stephon Gilmore for Odell Beckham.
We'd be set up. So there's.
And even then, that wouldn't help anything. Your outside corners aren't the problem. Your safeties are the problem.
Risk involved in their decision, but they trusted their guys and they made a play. And, our defense put us in position off many times in that game, holding them to a field goal that they missed there after the interception, getting an interception in the end zone there. So, again, we're going to win as a team and lose as a team.
Tony Grossi.
Kevin, 4th and 9 with 4 minutes to go would have been a bold decision to go for it. Did you consider it much?
No, that was just probably too long there, Tony, that distance. If it was tighter, without a doubt.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Scott Patrick.
Hey, Kevin, on the Richard fumble into the end zone, did you see Sorensen lead with his head, and did you think that should be a penalty?
I mean, honestly, I didn't see the replay. I was told about it, but I'll let the league handle those type of things.
And then, I know some coaches try not to have their guys dive for the end zone like that because the touchback is possible, but how hard is that for Richard in that situation?
I will never, ever doubt Rashard Higgins' effort or our guys' effort. Our rule there is not to reach the ball out. It's 1st and goal, and he knows that. So, again, appreciate his effort. He battled like he always does, but we got to fight that urge because it's such a big loss if it does end up being a touchback.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Mary Kay Cabot is next.
Yeah, Coach, it just seemed like you guys were going to need a clean game to beat these guys, and it just started out with you guys making some uncharacteristic drops, uncharacteristic mistakes.
I got that one already.
And just not what you guys have usually been doing lately. What do you attribute all that to?
Yeah, Mary Kay, we talked about that at halftime. We had 3 drives, 3 points, a bunch of drops, penalties. Bad play calls, all of it just wasn't good enough. You can't come in here and ultimately score 17 points and get a win versus this team. And that first half, I don't think that was a clean operation like we asked for.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Kay. We'll go to Jeff Jadell.
Kevin, I know it's just moments after this game, but can you reflect on what you guys did accomplish this season with all you had to deal with?
Jeff, I think I'll reflect later. I think right now it stings when you don't get the job done that you came to get done.
Next is Nate Ulrich. Nate, go ahead.
And so on the Richard play, how much do you talk to your guys about that? A lot of people lament the touchback rule, but your guys all are well aware of it, and you drill it.
Listen, let me be very, very clear. Richard Higgins is a warrior. He's battled all season long. He's done everything that I've asked him to do from the moment we got together in July. I'm never going to doubt that kid's effort. He's a team player all the way. Unfortunate play, and he understands the rule. I understand the rule. We'll continue to coach our guys, but Richard Higgins is I'm proud to coach him because he gives you everything he's got.
And is it just almost a very difficult situation for a player when he's trying with every fiber of his being to get to that pylon, yet that can be a consequence?
That's what the rule is.
Thanks, Nate.
Kevin's hilarious, man. Eddie Wright with the $5 super chat. Hey, Quincy, thanks for your commentary. Refreshing from the TV guys. Do you think the Browns should sign Juju? Thanks. They don't need another tough, physical, inside, short yardage wide receiver. They already got Jarvis and Richard Higgins. They need a deep threat. I'm thinking more along the lines of like John Ross or Brashard Perriman in the offseason if you can get your hands on them. Or, this draft is loaded with great wide receivers, so you could probably get somebody in the draft to be that deep threat. And then see if you want to keep Odell, you can. You have that flexibility, but if you don't, you can trade them and see what you can get. It's just, you're probably going to have to trade them during the season, and you're not going to get a haul of other players that you're going to use for Odell during the season, so it'll probably just be draft picks. So all those people who want to flip Odell into a defensive player, it's just not happening like that.
Hey, Jake Trout, your line's open.
Yeah, Kevin, speaking of rules, it looked like it might have been helmet to helmet. Do you have any comment? Did you get a chance to watch in your replay?
I haven't seen the replay, and again, I'll leave those things to the league.
How big of a swing was that, though? You guys were really starting to generate some momentum and came back and played well in the second half, but not to get any points there and for them to get points at the end of the second half. End of the second quarter. Just how big was that in the overall scheme of the game?
Yeah, there were a bunch of moments in that game that didn't go our way that need to in order to win on the road versus a Super Bowl champs. Obviously, our goal there was to double dip, get a touchdown, and then come back and play well in the first drive of the second half, and we really didn't do either. So that's disappointing from an offensive standpoint. That's where I point the finger at me and say, what could I do better there?
Thanks, Jake. Doug Maurice is next.
Brandon says, what were we
Kevin,
thinking
I know
in the
you're
game?
saying that this
Chubb was
loss
averaging
stings.
at least
You're
5
still in
yards.
that
Well, he
moment,
wasn't
but
averaging
what
5
you
yards
guys
per carry
did
in the first half. That's why
against the Steelers last week, against the Chiefs right now, just how would you characterize where you are in your ability as a team to compete with the best teams in the NFL? Like,
Fox Den Gaming with the $5 super chat. Q, amazing season. Thank you for everything. I hate looking into the past, but do you believe a trade for a speedy wide receiver? And then you can get that. You get that in the draft for free agency. And yeah, I do hope I think, maybe if you would have had a John Ross, maybe if you had a Brashard Perriman, maybe that would have helped. But I'm not Nostradamus. Like, I can't tell you that the future would have been different. We would have definitely won this game. I don't know if we get to this game if we made that trade. So, I would have liked to see it, but they didn't think that way. And, we'll see what they do in the offseason.
what did this tell you about how good you guys are?
Yeah, Doug, I'll tell you, just in talking to the team, it stings. And we came here to win, and we didn't get it done. There's a finality to that. I will tell you, we're going to be one of 31. We're going to be 31 teams that didn't get it done. There's only one that does each season. So that's where we're going to measure ourselves. And ultimately, that's what that's what our charge is. We want to be the last team standing, and we weren't. So to say where we are in that whole group, Doug, I don't know. I know we didn't get our job done today.
Thanks, Doug. Fred Greetham, you're up.
Hey, Coach, I know that, the end result, but you dug yourself a 19-3 deficit, and then you didn't give up. The team battled back, put yourself one possession from having a chance to beat the defending Super Bowl champs. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, Fred, I'm proud of this team. We got a bunch of fighters, and we knew that we were going to have to weather the storm, and we knew it was going to be close. And then in that close moment, we had to go take it, and we didn't get it done. And again, we'll share in that defeat, and it hurts. And I feel for our guys because, like you mentioned, I mean, they battled, they fought, and not surprised because they've done that all season long.
Thanks, Fred. Back to Mary Kay Cabot.
Just comment on, the fact that, the Chiefs did this. They lost their superstar quarterback to a concussion. Just your thoughts on that, and also thinking that perhaps that was an opportunity for maybe you guys, not to take anything away from Chad Henne, but for you guys.
Tony R says he doesn't want to hear any more Odell trade talk. I can see that. I mean, if you can get a replacement, and that's more for the front office. We'll deal with that when we
just seize the moment. And
you like the fact that we were in shotgun more. I wish we would have. Wish more next year, maybe 50-50 under center on the shotgun. Here's the thing. When you don't have your left tackle, that's one thing, right? When you don't have your left tackle's replacement, that changes the math on things. So I get where people are like, hey, man, we should have just did what we did. But you don't have your starting left tackle. So how do you feel comfortable doing a 3-step drop behind, Blake Hance, who's never played left tackle in his life? That's just not realistic, right? So you had to be in shotgun at that point. It changed the game plan once Kendall Lamb went out. And that's one of the things that nobody's talking about right now. It's important, right? It's important. Okay, this guy wants Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton would be a nice addition because he's a nice slot corner, also a good blitzer. Harrison Smith, that's a pipe dream. Leonard Williams, that's doable. But yeah, that's why. That's why the game plan changed. I mean, Blake Hance being out there, your backup guard, you have to do things to make sure that he can exist. And remember, Blake Hance just joined the team like 7 days ago to play guard, and now he has to play left tackle. It limits your offense so much there. I don't see enough people talking about that. There's no questions about the two backup offensive tackles that were in there and the fact that you had Blake Hance playing left tackle. Nobody's talking about that. That's probably one of the most important factors in this game.
Go out and take this thing after that.
Oh, obviously, I was very sorry to see him get hurt, and I hope that he clears and is better very quickly. He's a great player, great ambassador for this league, so you don't want to see anybody get hurt in those moments. That's a really good football team. We knew that going into it. They're deep, really, across the board. They got great players, and I really respect Coach Reed and his staff and what they've been able to build there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Scott Patrick, you're up.
Hey, Kevin, how tough was it only having the one timeout there at the end? And what did you see on the challenge you did make, and then it looked like a challenge earlier in the game where it might have been an incompletion and you didn't challenge?
Yeah, all those decisions.
It's those garbage little Ovaltrons they have at that stadium in Kansas City. You can't see them. They don't play them right. It's the oldest Jumbotron in the NFL. That always happens at Kansas City where somebody can't challenge something they would have at a better stadium because they just don't got the equipment there. They're not in the 21st century in that stadium. It always happens. It's that garbage little oval Jumbotron they have kept in there since the 80s. It's that, dude.
Scott, that's on me. I should have been better there. And there's a cost to those when you do lose those because you lose a timeout. So that's on me.
And then you had to take one, I think, on a third down. Just didn't like the setup before you had to take it.
I know we took one on a first down there late, which miscommunication. So unfortunate, and that ultimately is on me.
Thanks.
We're going to take two more. Tony Grossi, Nate Ulrich.
Evan, could you, the oblique injury to Garrett, he was only in on passing downs much of the second half, it seemed. How did it inhibit him? And just about him still being able to go out there and try to make plays?
Yeah, I don't know. Ultimately, I haven't had a chance to talk to him. I mean, I knew the injury. I knew he was in and out.
Forgot about our O-line. That's why I was watching your videos. Man, always on top of your game. From Brandon Bucks. Thank you for that. Yeah, the O-line. Blake Hance being out there left tackle. A dude who joined the team 6 days ago to play guard. A backup guard at that. At left tackle, you're not going to convince me that didn't change the game.
I don't know how much it inhibited him. Obviously, some that we weren't able to have him on there for every play. But again,
It absolutely
Miles has
did.
battled for us. He's battled through injuries all season long, so not surprised that he was battling through this one.
Final question, Nate Ulrich.
Kevin, what did you think of Baker Mayfield and his ability? Obviously, you don't want the interception in the first possession of the second half, but his ability to come back and help you guys rally.
Yeah, he fought like he always does. He rallied. I don't think I put him in enough good spots there. The offense in general, I don't think we put him enough good spots. But he's he was ready to go.
By the way, man, Baker Mayfield, after he throws like a bad interception, he always lights it up after that. It's like weird.
Go help us win that game.
I guess it's a good
That's what
trait.
he's done all
Just
season
don't throw the
long.
interception.
Steering the ship, being out in front, leading this group. So, I'm proud of him, and ultimately, we know that we didn't get the job done. So there's a huge amount of disappointment in that, but I appreciate how he battles.
Thanks, Nate. Coach, thank you for the time. That'll do it for today.
Yep. It's a rough one. A lot of blame at a lot of places. People don't know. I don't know. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm trying to do something. But it is a frustrating game, but let's not keep in mind and not forget, hey, what exactly did we all hope this Browns? Like, instead of telling me how you think the Browns lost this game or what they did, let me know in the chat what you think the Browns could have, like, what did you think the Browns were going to accomplish at the beginning of the season versus what they did? Is it not equal or greater than? I think so. But, guys, I need to ask somebody during this stream to take a break from the game. I need to ask somebody if they're ready. I need to ask somebody a question, guys. And I think the question goes to somebody named Carolina. Hey, Carolina, will you marry Curtis? I'll find out in the chat to see what happened. I got a DM from somebody. They said to ask that. Hopefully it works out for them. But Carolina, will you marry Curtis? That is the question. Let us know. Send us home happy. The Browns didn't. Soul Train with the super chat, with the $5 super chat, says, aside from improving certain areas of the defense, do you think our new DC, does he need a full year or offseason with better players? Yeah, he needs better players. He needs to also be better. Like, I'm not letting Joe Woods completely off the hook here, but it's also, better players, yes. Better coaching, also yes. This is like his first time in like 5 years being a defensive coordinator. I hope he learned. Coaches can improve. Coaches can improve. That is a thing. And sometimes he's been a really good D coordinator. He's called decent games. Sometimes he hasn't. And a lot of times communication has gotten in the way. Let's get a full offseason, see if that can change it. Cali Browns fan with the $5 super chat says 2 plays decided the game. Fumble out the end zone. It was a 10-point swing. Tuck rule only. Dumber NFL rule, not stopping the quarterback run. Shorter on 3rd and 4. Nah, I think they stopped it right about where it was. And they would have got it with that play. Look, they would have got it there. And stopping that quarterback run. Dude, you also got to respect Chad Henne, like, at some point, right? Like, I get that he's Chad Henne, and Chad Henne has only done Chad Henne things in the NFL. But for Chad Henne to have the balls to run that ball on 3rd and 14, he got it. Hey, man, can't be angry at that. Brandon Bucks with the $2 super chat says way too early for a prediction. Yes, it's way too. I don't even know who they're gonna draft or sign. I can't give you no prediction. They'll probably be good. I expect they were good. They're gonna be good. But also keep in mind what we had expected for this team, right? What we thought this team was gonna accomplish. And I see a lot of you guys 10-6, 11-5, maybe win a playoff game. That's exactly what we wanted. This was the dream scenario coming into the year, right? Oh, man, Browns win a playoff game, I'll be set. It's funny how we always come up with these dream scenarios. And then once it's time to achieve the dream scenario and that's all you achieve, you're upset. This is why everybody, you might as well just shoot for the moon because you're going to be disappointed anyways if you don't get it all. But, that is what it is. Look, you can look at the other teams too. The Baltimore Ravens are in the last year next year of their rookie deal under Lamar Jackson. They're going to get tight cap space pretty soon here. I'm going to be in a tighter situation than the Browns are. The Browns are in a great situation going forward for the next 3 years. Well, 2 seasons. Next 2 seasons, they're in a tremendous spot. Let them grow. Maybe Joe Woods grows into somebody. You know what's not going to grow in? If you're changing defensive coordinators every year. It's not going to get better next year if you just keep changing these defensive coordinators out. Because it ain't the defensive coordinators. Why was B.J. Goodson nowhere near the right side of the field? Because he didn't want to be there. Because he thought the play wasn't going to go anywhere else. Like, B.J. made these plays. He thought he was Ray Lewis. He ain't Ray Lewis. Sometimes it happens like that. Let's see if we got any more interviews to go up with. Hold on. Sean Goal with the $5 super chat. Hopefully it fix offensive line depth. Harrison, Lamb, all hurt. I mean, like, you can fix offensive line depth, but like, how deep can you get? Right? Like, this team got to the second round with a backup left guard. Almost got to the championship game with Blake Hance at left tackle. Blake Hance. Dude was on the Jets when we lost to him. Like, think about that. He was on the Jets when we lost to the Jets like 3 weeks ago. This man was starting at left tackle today. We're playing left tackle for the Browns. I don't know how much deeper you can get, man. I don't know how much deeper the offensive line can get. I don't know. The coaching is tremendous. What can they do? What can they do? Given the circumstances, like, people are you just got to hope you don't get injured. This many injuries on the offensive line is just not common. Do you think after this season it'll be easier for us to get free agents? Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially with the offense they run. Yeah, they'll be able to get free agents. Defensively, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Yeah, they're going to be able to get free agents because people know this ain't like a bad team that they're going to. Like, the Browns are good. They have a good quarterback. Why not? It'd be a fool to turn them down. You know what I mean? Especially when they got cap space. Mark with another question. Hey, Q, now that we're in the offseason, do you want to talk about the Odell? Dude, Odell's situation, I'm not doing this all summer. We're not going to know anything about Odell unless he gets traded in the middle of the offseason for whatever reason or until the season starts next year. Like, the Odell situation is nowhere near being, like, resolved. Like, you know, it's just they're going to wait and see. I think they're going to wait till training camp, wait till a couple of weeks into the season and see what they do with that. Next question comes from Jim Bowen. All right, man, I'm not reading that. That's just weird. Don't super chat weird stuff like that. It won't get read. All right, this next one's from B Slick, who says, hey, Q. I want to clear this up with you guys. Yeah, hey, Q, has your AdSense situation been cleared up? And what do you want to do? Make sure you can keep doing this full time during the offseason. All right, so, well, what can we do? What did you say? Okay, so, yeah, get that Jim Bowens one off. That's weirdo asking me why you want to rip his PP. That ain't getting read. That's weird. But the YouTube situation, since we got people live in here, the situation seems to be resolved at this point. I am getting my AdSense back from YouTube, so I am getting paid off of ads. I just found it out, I think a couple of days ago once they finalized the payment. So that's been resolved. I talked to YouTube. They seem like that it's resolved, but, you know, you never know with them. It just kind of happened. It wasn't like they worked with me to clear this up. So I think it's resolved. I am getting paid off of ads now. The Patreon stuff helps a lot. The super chats, obviously, they help a lot. And during the offseason, there's going to be a ton of content. I'm going to do draft streams, free agency streams. I might just stream, just casual on a Saturday. Just play some video games with y'all. Do that open challenge like I did on New Year's Eve. All kinds of things that I'm planning on doing for this channel. All kind of videos. Don't worry. If you have a Browns itching still, if you still got an itching for Browns football, there will be videos all year long about the Browns 364 or 365 day coverage for the Cleveland Browns. So, it's all good. It's all good. Y'all gonna get tons of Browns content. Get ready, strap in. It ain't going nowhere. Now let's talk to Baker Mayfield.
What did you make of that play? How big of a play was that, considering you guys really had a chance to swing momentum at that point?
Yeah, I mean, they popped a cover 2 on us. Obviously, it was going to be a big play, but there's, that's the easy finger pointing answer. But there's so many other plays that we could have done. Obviously, I did the Cardinal sin, threw across my body into the middle of the field on the first drive coming out second half. Just, we hurt ourselves in the first half, and they capitalized, and that's what the good teams do. And so they were better than us.
Thanks, Jake. We'll go to Nate Orr.
Baker, Richard's obviously trying to score there, reaching out and doing his best to get to that pylon. And just the worst thing that could happen happens to him. What do you tell him after that?
Is Johnny Manziel on Twitter? Wait a minute. Wait, while you guys watch this, I'm going to go check on this. I heard Johnny Manziel was talking garbage. What?
The ball always finds a way to come back to you after things like that happen. We're counting on him. There's a whole lot of game left, obviously a full half considering where we were at in the game. So we knew we were going to get the ball coming out second half, and we had everything we wanted. Like I said, we hurt ourselves, and they took advantage. They played extremely well and made plays when they needed to.
The other aspect of that play is he gets hit helmet to helmet while diving. Did you guys get a look at it, and did you have any thought on it?
I didn't look at it, so no, not really.
Thanks, Nate. Jeff Shadell's next. All right, we'll move on from Jeff. Mary Kay Cabot, give our next question.
Boy, Johnny Manziel better stop talking garbage.
Sort of put into words somehow.
Like he wasn't the worst quarterback in the 2014 draft class. Like he wasn't one of the worst decisions this franchise ever made. Like he wasn't a complete bust on his own doing. He was talented enough to make an NFL. He just did not want to do it. I don't know who he's being petty towards or who he's upset with because his career didn't work out, but it better be Johnny Manziel. Because Johnny Manziel's the only one who ruined Johnny Manziel's career. So I don't know what his beef is with the Browns franchise, even though it's not even the same franchise that took him. I don't know why he has a beef with the Browns. But Johnny, dog, you couldn't even make it in the CFL, the AFF, and the XFL refused to take you. So laugh on Twitter all you want. That's literally all you'll ever be able to do when it comes to football because your career is over because you were the most immature human being to ever play quarterback in professional sports history.
How final.
Now let me go listen to a real quarterback, a real mature quarterback, somebody who's actually, done stuff in the league. Baker Mayfield.
This must feel for you guys after you fought so hard all season, pulled together, got through adversity, even fought through a bunch of adversity in this game, losing Jed, Miles getting hurt and all that stuff. Just for now it to be over, is it a way to describe that?
Here, bro.
It sucks, to be quite honest with you guys. It sucks because so many people have sacrificed so much during this process of this very strange season. We've overcome adversity. Obviously, so many people have stepped up. The families of players, the families of staff, everybody sacrificed so much for us to be able to do this. And it's just unfortunate for us to come up short, It sucks because we believed in it. That's why we're here. And but trying to find the positive out of it. We're setting a new standard here, and to everybody's saying in the locker room, continue to tell guys that we're going to be back. And it sucks when you come up short, but you get that taste of it, and you realize you learn lessons. And but for now, it's definitely going to sting. So hopefully Pat is okay. You never want to see that. But I thought Penny came in and that run to get 4th and inches and then that 4th down conversion. They made the plays, and it sucks looking at everybody from our side of the ball. We gave it our all. We just came up short.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Tom Withers, you're up.
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, Vic, I wanted to ask you about Patrick. I mean, you're a competitor, but you're also a friend of his. How hard was that seeing him kind of not being himself and kind of wobble off there?
Those hits are scary. You never want to see that, especially with, obviously being extremely familiar with Pat. You just don't want to see that, so hopefully he's okay.
I've seen better QBs than John. I mean, Chad Henne was better than Johnny Manziel, right? Come on, okay. Come on. Blake Dynamite says we had a chance with Patrick when Patrick left the game. Defense couldn't get they got the stop, man. The defense did get the turnover. They got the interception. They got the stop. The offense could not capitalize because, one, the Chiefs finally took advantage of the fact the Browns had a backup guard in Blake Hance, who joined the team 6 days ago, playing left tackle. They finally took advantage, blitz heavily to that side. The Browns couldn't really do anything, couldn't move the ball, and the drive stalled. The defense gave you a couple of chances to win this game. They blew the one at the end, but they gave you a couple of chances here.
Okay, safety first.
The fact they didn't allow a touchdown too on that pick, to force no points, that was also huge. The defense deserves a lot of credit for how close this game was. I know people don't want to give it just because the game ended like that, but the defense really did what they could to keep that game close. The offense just, do you need the offense to step up in these kind of games? The offense just didn't play the game that you would expect out of them, and that's where you lost the game at.
I hope he's okay.
And, you got the ball back, did you feel good about what you were going to be able to do there?
We did, and I think that's what hurts the most, that they went for it, because I think they could feel that too. And, so it is what it is.
Tom, we'll go to Scott Patrick.
Hey, Baker, obviously the offense wasn't firing on all cylinders in the first half. Was Kansas City doing something to take you out of your game, or what do you think the issues were?
We got behind a little bit, a couple penalties.
Proud of this
here
Browns
and there.
team. Thank you for a great season from Mac Miller Canco. Thank you.
It's just, we weren't ourselves in that first half, and got behind a little bit.
And then you mentioned that interception to start the second half. Just a bad decision trying to force it over the middle there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, the Cardinal sin of throwing late on the move over the middle of the ball. Obviously, Tyron's a great player. Jarvis didn't see him, or I'm sure he would have fought for it. But that's the type of player he is. I said it earlier in the week. You got to know where he's at. I'll look back on that. Maybe a pump fake and run. It's a different story. But defense did a great job of not.
Dave, in the chat, you say the Browns didn't do anything against Patrick Mahomes. What happened on the drive where they got them held to a field goal and then Harrison Butker misses the field goal? Was that a score? They had a short field of everything. There would have been all the excuses in the world built in for them to give up that touchdown. They did not. The defense did what they had to do to get the Browns a chance to win that game. The Browns offense, they had the drive with 5 minutes left. They could not do it. They just did not do it. And that's partly because they did not have an offensive line at all at that point. Well, they had an offensive line. It's just they were short one player. Well, like 3 players, actually. Kendall Lamb was hurt. Blake Hance was in there. I get everybody wants to throw it on the defense, but did Carl Joseph not get that interception in the red zone to give you that chance? Did they not stop them after the interception to make the interception basically meaningless? Did they not also do that with only letting 45 seconds go off the clock to give you plenty of time? You can throw all the shade that you wanted to defense for what they did wrong, but point out what they did right. Don't sit here and just give me the bad news on the defense. Talk about the whole game. Defense put you in position to win the game twice. Browns didn't come out with it. Offense stalled. They got to be better next time they're in that situation. We can talk about the defense improvements. Yes, they need to be improved on the defense. Obviously, Joe Woods needs to coach better next year if he wants to keep his job. But we ain't going to act like the defense was the only thing that cost you this game. Offense had chances to win it. Offense did not convert. Next year, they better. Blake Dynamite starting O-line. Soft, needed training camp. So many soft tissue injuries. It's just bad luck, honestly, because not everybody else had that problem. It was just bad luck. Bad luck on the offensive line this year. Just terrible luck with injuries.
Not allowing any points and kept keeping us in that game in that second half. So it's, we just have to capitalize. Like I said, we didn't make enough plays to win today, and the Chiefs did.
Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. We'll go to Doug Lesmerises.
Baker, you guys had that 8-minute touchdown drive, and then you get the ball back after the pick by Carl in the end zone, and you come back out with 8 minutes left. Can you just take us through how you felt in that moment? Could you put together a long drive to kind of score and end the game? What happened on that drive then? And then also the 4th and 9, did you maybe think there was any chance you guys might go for it there?
Yeah, obviously when you get the ball with momentum starting to swing our way, we were confident that we were going to go out there. They decided, excuse me, to bring a couple pressures and made the plays, and we didn't. And no, but by the way the game was going, believed, the way we handled that situation, giving the ball to them and trusting in our defense the way they were playing at the time to get the stop. And like I said, there was a great couple plays by Henny to convert there.
Jake Trouters next.
Yeah, Baker, I know this is disappointing, but you look at how far you guys have come this season, really since you got to Cleveland. What do you think about this team, this franchise moving forward based on everything you guys showed this year and what's going to be on this team going forward?
Yeah, obviously each year there's turnover inside the locker room, which is unfortunate because we had an extremely special group here. So, like I said, I told some of the guys that for sure are going to be back that we will be back. And, as I've said and restated throughout the season's gone on, that there's a new standard here, and that's to be expected. And, this is going to leave a bad taste in our guys' mouths for extra motivation through the offseason. But, yeah, I mean, we've come a long way since I first got here, but we're not done yet. And that's the best part. Obviously, it hurts to, have to wait till next September to have to play, but it is what it is.
Thanks, Jake. We're going to take three more, one each. Nate Orr, Mary Cabot, Scott Pickett, Nate.
Baker, kind of piggybacking off that, how much will this
turnover.
experience drive you and, the core guys that, will be back? And just how valuable, I mean, I'm sure it's kind of hard to process now. You said it stings, it sucks, but how valuable do you think it will be to get on this stage in this type of game and have those kind of plays?
I think it'll be extremely valuable for our guys to look at, each play matters. You have to be extremely locked in and take care of business. And obviously the atmosphere was unbelievable today. So, I mean, those are valuable learning experiences that we have to, truly take in and grow from.
Next is Mary Kay Cabot.
Yeah, Baker, Miles was telling us that Travis Kelce was upset about the hit on Patrick, and and Miles was vouching for Mac and making sure that everybody would know that nobody would ever do anything like that. And I see that
They
Mac
even look
is
dirty.
defending himself on Twitter.
It just
My
looked like
question
a
to you is,
bad-
were you hearing any
bad
chatter
physics,
like that from people? And you know your guys well enough, I'm sure, to know what the deal would be in a situation like that.
No, I mean, I didn't specifically see the hit, but Mac is not a dirty player. That's not the case.
I don't know any Buffalo guys. Go on, John, if you want to see a Buffalo guy, go on either Sonny or Engraven's channel. I think he did a collab with one of them. I think Sonny definitely did a collab with the Bills guy. So go on SZG Sports' channel. I think there's a Bills guy there that you can find.
So if anybody truly thinks that,
Nobody thinks
their
his
own
defense
opinion,
is elite.
so
Where did
they
anybody
can
get
have
that?
it.
Who's talking about this defense? Who said I said this defense was elite? No, this defense is not elite, but they got the turnover you needed. Like, Baker had the ball in his hands. Like, the offense had the opportunity. It's just you were for once during this postseason not having your starting offensive lineman finally came back to bite you. You got the turnovers you needed. Once you had the punt there, it was a gamble whether you're going to get that ball back, how Kansas City was moving the ball. And, you got to 4th and 2, and they went with it on 4th and inches, dude, on their own 40. Who was thinking that was happening? What you going to do, call a QB spy on the 3rd and 15 on Chad
Like
Henne?
I said, I hope Pat's okay. And, like I said, Mac's not like that.
And our final question goes to Scott.
Hey, Baker, I know you guys have been through a lot, but how tough was it to see Jed go down on the first offensive snap and then Kendall after him?
Very unfortunate. Obviously, it's going to be a big game for Jed, and then losing Kendall also sucks because he's been a guy that stepped up time and time again for us. But then, that guy named Blake stepped up again for us. But it is what it is. But like I said, we still had the plays to be made there, and we didn't.
Thank you, Scott. Baker, thank you for your time.
All right, that was Baker Mayfield. And yeah, y'all. It was, not ideal. Hold on one second. I got to call in. It was not ideal. We're going to go to a patreon.com user call in here. I'm going to call in for my guy here, see if he answers. But not ideal. But the Browns ended up achieving everything that you wanted this season. I think that's the most important part, right? You're looking at building blocks, first-year head coach, all those things, all good or not. But you want to make sure you can achieve what you set out to at the beginning of the season. I think the realistic expectations this year were playoff game, get to the playoffs, win in the playoffs, and build off of that next year. Now we're in that build mode. We'll see what we have going forward with Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield once they get a whole year with each other. Ian Whitaker with the super chat. Glad we're going to be talking about the draft in January instead of November. Absolutely. We got free agency to go through first. That's going to be more important than the draft. We got to also get used to that mindset, right? Free agency is going to be more important than the draft because this is a win-now team. We got him on here. What's your name, man?
Oh, hey, this is Jeff.
Jeff, how you doing today?
Actually, surprisingly pretty good, like all things considered.
Mm-hmm. What did you want to talk about?
Just a few things. I was super surprised the way the game went. Like coming into it, I thought it would be super high scoring. Like after we put up 48 on Pittsburgh's D, and then coming in against the 31st DVOA run defense, like I thought we were going to run wild, and they would throw for like a zillion yards in our crappy secondary. But it did obviously not go that way at all. So I was super surprised to see it come down, and they only have 22 points. Even when Mahomes went out, like they were only were they at 22 then, or maybe only 19? I think it was 19-10 when Mahomes went out.
Yeah, it was 19. Yeah, it was like no. I think it was like 19-3 still, right? I think the Browns still had a ways to go when he went out because they were driving. And they added to it. Okay, it ended up being like, 21-10 after that or something. 22-10 after they got the field goal on that drive. Because they scored on the drive that Mahomes went out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, like, we weren't, like, holding them down, like, a lot. But still, like, I thought they would have, like, 20-plus at the half. So, yeah, I was super impressed with their defense overall. But I was really surprised after... we had driven all the way down, scored that touchdown, taken all that time off the clock, and then we get the interception in the end zone. I thought their defense would just be gassed. Like that was a super long drive. I thought we were just gonna be able to run. I was hoping we'd be able to run it all the way down, run the clock down, and punch it in with like less than a minute. And then that did not happen at all. I was really disappointed with the offensive play calling on our final offensive possession.
Yeah, I thought they would have went 5 minute there. I would have to see, like when I look at the tape, how well was Blake Hance holding up there at left tackle, because that could have been Chris Jones and Frank Clark were just murdering him on early downs, and they just couldn't get the ball going from a running standpoint. I do believe if Wills is healthy, they do what they normally do in that 5 minute situation, which is just relentlessly run Chubb and Hunt and get the ball into the end zone that way. But I have to see if that ended up being a factor, because I can't help but think it was, because, I mean, this is a guy who was on the Jets when the Jets beat us 2 weeks ago, and he's a guard, and now he's playing left tackle in a divisional round for you. So I have to think that's a factor.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Yeah, I think if Wills had stayed in. And yeah, we just had like really bad luck with our O-linemen these last couple of games. But yeah, and I guess our luck just ran out eventually with that. Couldn't go on forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after we punted there, which I thought was probably the right decision, because then I think if we'd gone for it and not got it, they would have been pretty much in field goal range. Maybe just like a first down away.
It would have been the end of the game there if you don't get it there. So I get punting it, and you are thinking, hey, it's Chad Henne. Maybe your defense can get a stop here. And you know what? Like, you got to 3rd and 14. It's just the last 2 plays of this game were just nobody saw any of that coming, right? The 3rd and 14 scramble with Chad Henne. Like Chad Henne was playing quarterback against Troy Smith at Michigan. Nobody thought he was going to pick up 13 yards on a freaking scramble right there. And then to go for it on your own 40. Like, that's a gutsy decision. Like if you don't make that, you basically give Baker the ball with 40 at the 40-yard line with time to go there. So that's a ballsy enough decision for Andy Reid. I'm just like, hey, they got it. I can't believe they got it, but I also can't believe they called it.
Yeah, me too. And I think what helped it get to that position, and obviously we'll never know, but if we had like our extra timeouts, like if we hadn't the one where we didn't get the playoff in time and had to take it, like I thought that was a killer. And then obviously the challenge was a bad decision. I think maybe it was they had to do it quick. They probably couldn't get their guy in the booth to tell them, so he just made the call before they could get the next playoff.
Yeah, Kansas City has like the worst Jumbotron situation in the NFL. And that sounds like goofy, but like a lot of those challenges and reviews really depend on the replay getting up on the Jumbotron. Kansas City only has like 2 video boards in that entire stadium, so they don't have to play replays on them. So sometimes they don't. If it's like the opposing team, like you'll see like in Dallas or in Cleveland, like they'll challenge something like that. They can see the replay because they always can. It's just in Kansas City, that's part of their home field advantage is that they have just no video over there.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, that's why I love your channel. Like they don't tell you that on TV, I don't think. Like I've never heard that before. Like I always thought the Cleveland had like their own video guy who would have their own feed to like go over and look at in the booth. I didn't know they were actually using the Jumbotron.
Yeah, sometimes they have their own guy. It's real. Sometimes they have their own guy. Sometimes they look at it. But if you're the head coach in that kind of a situation, you always want to get eyes on it. And since the replay guy can't really show Kevin anything down there, they really kind of depend on that scoreboard. Because you'll always see it if you ever go to a game in Brown Stadium. And whenever they show the replay, challenge flag always comes out after that. They're always looking at the Jumbotron.
Okay, yeah, I never noticed that. But I think I don't know, what do you think? Like if we had our 3 timeouts or even 2 and there had been like if it was 4th and 1 still in that situation, but we had stopped the clock a few times and instead of there being like a minute something left, there was like over 2 maybe and we still had the 2-minute warning to come. Like do you think they still would have went for it, or do you think they might have been more likely to punt it with the extra time?
I mean, I would think like they wouldn't have, but like, Andy Reid is a gambler at the end of the day. It's probably what's gotten him in trouble and also what's given him success. So, I still don't know if I could rule it out there because I think part of going for it at that moment was nobody thinks I'm going to do it because it would be really stupid to do it. So I think I can sneak it out here. Like I think that was part of Andy Reid's thinking there, or Eric Bieniemy, whoever called the play. So I think that was an inevitable call. I think maybe if you're the defense, you're less worried about accidentally hopping the line of scrimmage and giving them more downs because that ends the game when you don't have timeouts. So maybe you're playing more press. Maybe you're playing more on the line of scrimmage just in case they run something there. So maybe it changes something for the defense. But I do think he caused that regardless of what the Browns have because basically he was putting them in that situation, right, where it was, hey, if I don't get this, Baker beat us pretty much, So I think that was regardless what he was going to do.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know. And I love Andy Reid as a coach too. Like I've always liked him. Like, I don't know. He seems to have a great attitude and like his players all love him. And I don't know. I really respect like going for it in that situation.
Nah, you got to respect it. And he got it. So you got to respect. I got to get to another call. Thank you for coming on today, though, man. I'm going to get to this next guy here, but appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right. Okay, we're going to go to this guy, and then it's probably our last call of the day. Oh, man. But Browns disappointingly lose. A lot of things kind of contributed to that. They called that play 2 weeks ago. They called the play. Like that play to Tyreek Hill, they always run that play in short yardage situations. It's just who expects you to actually do it on 4th and inches on your own 40 when you're like only up 5. Like, who expects that? Like, the priority there, and my priority while watching, is just don't jump off sides, because there's no way they're actually going to call that play. They called the play and it worked. Great job, Andy Reid. Great job faking it. They did the body language and everything. Are you there, man?
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
Stuff.
Yep. What do you want to talk about today, man?
I guess last guy covered a lot of it, but one thing I wanted to say is I think a lot of what played into the punt was that interception kind of gave them a sense of security, because your defense had just given you an interception against Chad Henne, so you kind of get comfortable there. And like, I don't agree with the punt call, but I get why they would do it after that. So I know a lot of people are mad about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's one of those things, like, in hindsight, everybody can be mad about, but, like, during the game, it made sense to punt right there. Again, you would have to think, like, if your defense can get a stop against Chad Henne, and you did get him in 30-16. You just did not finish it out. And that's been a problem all game with this Browns team, the third down. It's been a problem all year with this Browns team. Against Lamar Jackson on Monday Night Football, third down was a huge problem. Think about the game on Monday Night Football, right? The third down, they gave up to Trace McSorley to get Lamar in there on 3rd and 9 on the next set of plays. And then Pookie Brown to Pookie, the Pookie on Pookie play happens there. So, it's just 3rd and long's been a problem. That needs to be addressed in the offseason, a reason that keeps happening. It needs to be addressed by the coaching staff schematically. It needs to be addressed by the front office when it comes to personnel. 3rd and long's been a disaster for this team all year, and it came back to bite us in the ass again. Offensively on that one drive, I'm just saying here, I wish they would have just went into their 5-minute and trusted it. I don't think they trusted it because of who they had at left tackle. But, man, it would have been real helpful if they just would have went Hunt and Chubb there like they've always done at that point of the game all season. They just went away from it this game. And maybe it's because Rashad Fenton went out. They wanted to attack his backup. But, man, I think you really hurt yourself not running the ball there when you had 8 minutes to go in the fourth after that interception. I really think that's where the coaching staff and the players are going to go. That's where we missed our shot.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I would have done too. And to mention what you were saying about the 3rd down, like, that whole left side of the field is so wide open that Chad Henne can run for 14 yards. Like, how is there that big of a gap over there? And that's how it always happens to us. It's like, it's got to be a scheme mixed with a personnel problem, because nobody's fast enough to beat Chad Henne to the 1st down line. How does that happen?
Well, I mean, part of it is, like, Adrian Claiborne is the guy setting the edge on that play. He's just not fast anymore. Another part is you go into a cover 2, you spread out. And a lot of this is just what the Kansas City Chiefs do to you, right? You spread out and you're like, okay, Travis Kelce can't beat you. Nicole Perriman can't beat you. Tyreek Hill, you really can't afford him beating. So you have so much personnel just dedicated to stopping those 3 guys that you don't really leave yourself room for a spy, even when there's Patrick Mahomes out there who can scoot a little bit. But especially when there's no Chad Henne, you're just not going to account for that, or account for him just going to take that lane. And I think one of the things, and again, I got to look at the tape, but the linebacking play, one of the biggest issues with the linebacking play has been guys playing hero ball. Guys trying to do the extra thing to make the big play instead of just being where they're supposed to be. And I think, again, all of the issues this defense has had throughout the year have came back to bite them in the ass in this game. But also, it can't all be on the defense. They did get the interception. You had the chance to win the game there. You just could not make a drive. You could not establish a drive there, and you wasted too much time getting nothing on that one. So, yes, we can blame the defense. Yes, the defense did not play well, but also the offense has to capitalize on these moments if you want to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, I completely agree. And after that interception, you're right. Like, the choice to not run the ball there, when Baker threw the interception, I don't think they ran the ball there either. And that was a bad throw on his part. He really probably should have just taken he had Hunt open 2 yards short of the line. So I'd have taken that instead of forcing the ball towards Honey Badger.
Yeah, he tried to make a play there. He went across his body. Jarvis did look open, but he just didn't see Honey Badger there. Well, one sec, I got a super chat from Big Dog. He says, good thing we have a young foundation. Nothing to be ashamed of. Great work, Q. Thank you for that, man. But, yeah, he just didn't see him there. And the good thing also, you got to give the defense credit. They held them to a field goal. I do believe that was when Patrick Mahomes was still out there. And then Harrison Butker misses the field goal. You only lost like 40 seconds off the clock with that turnover. So, like, as good as you could have wished an outcome off that interception to be.
Sure. Yeah, I totally agree there.
Anything else, man?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, man. You have a great day.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, so a lot to chew on for that game. And we're going to have all offseason to chew on this game and to think about what could have went right, what could have went wrong, and, you know, if we would have had a shot with no left tackle against the Bills. All these things are things we can have a thought about all offseason, what we need to improve. But at the end of the day, we need to also have the perspective. Browns did everything a lot of Browns fans wanted them to do. 11-5 won a playoff game. They could have done more, and that's why this is frustrating, but they can achieve more. And you got to hope once they add to this team, they will achieve more. We'll see what Pittsburgh's going to do. They have the worst cap situation in the NFL, and Big Ben is coming back, and that's not going to be good. They're losing a ton of key players on defense and on offense, so that's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. Cincinnati with Joe Burrow getting healthy. We'll see how that situation plays out. Baltimore getting in a worse cap situation, seeming like some of their issues offensively can't be overcome against the great teams in the NFL or the great defenses in the NFL like it did against the Bills. The Browns are in a really good spot here for the future. And I know the future is tired here in Cleveland. We want to talk about the now, but I'm not talking about a 5-year plan. This is next year. This is the year after. We'll see what they got. Hopefully have better luck with the injury bug. Hopefully all these things get better. This needs to be said. We need to resign Richard. That being said, what do you pay him, and will he take a discount? He's not going to be that expensive. You can keep Richard. And you're probably going to draft another wide receiver too. But that's going to be it for this live stream, guys. Thank you guys for coming and rocking with me all season. Thank you for rocking with me even after a loss. Stay tuned for my post-game recap video. It's going to come out tomorrow morning. And stay tuned for a whole week of content about this week of videos. Soul Train with last-minute super chat says the Browns have a winning record, made the playoff, won a playoff game, and won in Pittsburgh. Now they need to take the next step and win the AFC North. And that's what the Browns are going to work on doing next year. The target is the North. The target is a North championship. The target is a home playoff game and a real run in the playoffs next year. So we'll see what the Browns achieve there. But they got a lot to improve, but they got a lot to be excited about. And let's always look at this glass half full. But again, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day.